Hello, and welcome to the Passion Driven Pioneers interview series. I'm your host, John Channon, and today I'm joined by Josh Ugrich, who is the owner and president of North Country Directional Drilling. Josh, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, would you like to just kick us off with a brief background as to who you are, what you do, and the business that you're in?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Josh Ugrich. I've been involved in the horizontal directional drilling industry for the past roughly 20 years. Um, Started as a laborer back in 2005 and worked through some ranks, moved up to operators of mud systems and back trucks and things like that. Became a driller and later a superintendent. All of this was done with a company we started with back in 2005 is Southeast Directional Drilling. Um, in 2012, I was moved into a position to where I became a lead estimator, and then soon after VP of estimating and project management, where I worked there until 2020. Um, with that, when we departed ways there, I worked around different various places and have always had a dream or a vision of, owning my own directional drilling company one day. And during that process from 2020 to 2000, late 2022, there's some opportunities that came up to where the company that I left uh, ended up they were owned by a private equity group, and they ended up selling their stake to another private equity group, in which case we found an opportunity to put in an offer for the drilling equipment that we used to run. So it all worked out pretty good in that aspect. And in late 2022, we started North Country Directional Drilling between myself and three business partners, and started our first HDD as North Country in March of 2023. Since then, we've installed over 60,000 feet of pipe underground,
Wow.
from pipe sizes ranging from 2-inch up to 36-inch. However, we got the capabilities of handling all size pipe up to 56-inch and HDDs as long as 10,000 feet. If that came up, we've done it in the past, and just not as North Country.
So talk to us a little bit about the mind shift that you needed to go through when you went from obviously working in these types of businesses to all of a sudden owning a business.
Yeah. So I've had a pretty good teacher through the process. So my father was the one who started Southeast Directional Drilling, the company that we started with back in '05. And he actually stayed there until 2019. He left. So I've had a pretty good teacher as far as learning the background of it's the outside stuff other than just installing pipeline underground. Um, since 2012, uh, when I left the field and started in the office, I think that was kind of my training period with him and some other help along the way, showing me how to. There's a lot of changes as far as, like I said, it's not just installing pipeline underground. Now we're looking at running budgets and figuring out costs and differentials and margins and whatever else. So there was a whole change in mind and focus on how we looked at the job rather than when we were in the field and it was blow and go and get the job done.
So, so tell me a little bit about, is your work-life balance different as an owner in the business versus when you were kind of working your way up?
Um, I feel like maybe there maybe a little bit of a different stress, maybe a little more stress on making sure things are moving or flowing correctly. I feel like the stress is a better stress because I have the opportunity to kind of direct things the way we've seen fit through the years, ways that we kind of wanted to try and change and do things. And ever since starting North Country, we've been very successful in the early stages of this company in running it in a similar fashion to how Southeast started. So we do a lot of relatable things. We've changed up a lot of different aspects of the company as far as our safety procedures and our operations and how we run things that way. But as far as planning ahead, money management, buying more equipment when feasible, things of that nature. We've really followed a platform that Steve showed us throughout the early stages of Southeast. So yeah, I'd say that there's plenty of stress, but it's a good stress. It's a lot more fun, I guess, working this way than it was in the past.
Yeah, you mentioned changing some things in the area of safety for your operations, right? Are those been driven by yourselves, or are they being driven by legislature? Or tell us a little bit
Um,
more about how
it's
how
a
important.
combination. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. It's a combination, since 2005 to now, we've all seen a lot of changes, not just in our world or different construction companies, but in general in our day-to-day livelihoods. So it's a lot of adapting to the changes in culture, and we work across the country. Sometimes we've been out of the country, so there's a lot of adapting to different livelihoods outside of where we're based out of or where we normally work. Um, so through the years, we've seen a lot of changes. Now, when we first started this North Country, it was a primary focus between the four of us when we sat down and we had our early stages and meetings and how we're going to operate this company. That was a big push or a movement on our part in trying to establish a safety culture to where everybody wants to jump on board and have everybody a team player when it comes to the safety culture, even if that means slowing down a bit, if that means doing things outside the box that you normally wouldn't see on a directional drilling crew. So far we've had great success with it. We've implemented a lot of great plans and procedures through the process that I think our clients and customers can really appreciate, or they've actually vocalized how they appreciate it. So I think, yeah, I guess to get back to your question, it's changed a lot through the years, but we've made that a primary focus in starting North Country.
Okay, yeah, it sounds like maybe a core value of the organization, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think every organization needs to put that at the top of the list.
Good. You mentioned that you guys do some international type projects and things like that. Are you guys unique in the industry just because of the size of what you can do and the length at which you can run these things, or help me understand that?
Right. Yeah. So I would say we're pretty unique. When it comes to large diameter pipeline installations, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but our competition, it probably ranges up to 12 other contractors that could, I guess, compete in that market, or have the rig capabilities of installing a 56-inch pipeline. Our drill rigs range from 110,000 pounds up to 1.1 million pounds of pullback pressures, which is the million-pound rig is few and far. There's not a whole lot of customer or contractors out there that own a million-pound rig. So for that reason, I think, yeah, I would say 12 to maybe 15 contractors in the country anyways are capable. Now you get into China or Russia, there's other capabilities and different contractors out there. We don't necessarily get out of the United States on that aspect. The farthest we've ever gone was back in the Southeast days where it was Trinidad, and installed 56-inch pipeline down there. Currently with North Country right now, we actually have a rig on a barge scheduled to be delivered this Friday to Alaska. So
Wow.
we're going to start some Alaska pipeline work as well.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So in your industry, right, what are some of the things that you guys do to stay adaptable, open to change and innovative, right?
Yeah, you hit the key word right there is being innovated, and that's a word we push throughout our whole company and staying on top of our game and being innovators of the industry. I think once you lose sight of being innovated and adaptable to changes is the second you start getting passed by your competition, and your clients don't necessarily see you as a top priority to have you hired. So that was another second to the safety side. When we first got together, one of the key focuses were being innovators and pushing our employees to be innovators. That's from ourselves all the way down to a labor on the job site to all our office personnel, pushing to let them know that any idea is welcomed with us and we want to listen and hear all ideas. If there's a good idea that could save the company 5 minutes here or 20 minutes there, those are a lot of that's a lot of cost, in 20 minutes when you're fully operating a 10-man crew in the middle of the field. So if we can tweak and customize the drill rig a little bit to maybe rig up faster, or we have a better system on removing materials out of the hole or anything like that, we're always listening to the ideas. We don't maybe necessarily implement it right away, but I know of a lot of ideas that are in my head that I've heard from years past that I could see us using, one day down the road when the right time comes. So yeah, we definitely push our guys to be innovators, and then really making a strong focus on the communication and transparency, not just only internally, but more so with our customers as well.
Mhm.
And we've always found that being transparent and having early meetings and meetings during the workload or when there's a big scope or change happening in the field, there's a lot of moments there where we like to not necessarily stop production, but stop and set up a meeting with our customers to discuss what's maybe happening or going on, to where we find that when everybody's involved, there's a lot less arguing, maybe for lack of better words, and we find that you're able to be a lot more successful with everybody included and everybody understanding the scope of what's actually going on and potential of what could happen or what is happening. And it's been a great success for us so far.
Okay, good. So relying a lot on the people doing the work and then also the clientele for that innovation and coming up with ideas, and then you guys get to vet those through. So that's really interesting.
Absolutely.
Could you offer us a glimpse into your future plans and goals that you have for your business?
Yeah. So when we started the company in November of 2022. And like I said, we started our first drill in March of 2023. Since that first drill, we've grown by 4 more directional drill rigs, all large scale drill rigs ranging anywhere from 440,000 pounds up to another 1 million pound rig. And so our key focus is to continue growing the North Country Drilling brand into a competent company, that a reliable company where our customer can call upon us for those larger projects that may consist of, those 6 drills or 12 drills, 20 drills on a project. We want to be able to be a contractor that can provide full service to that project. Additionally, we've had a lot of discussion here internally on building a North Country brand, meaning opening other services, trenchless services, and maybe even outside of the trenchless world, in buying different style drill rigs, and maybe even venturing outside of the drilling department and getting into different aspects that can help our customers.
That's great. So
Hopefully, I guess the plan is one day having a North Country type of parent company, I guess you could call it, housing, 3, 4, 5 different North Country brands underneath it.
well,
With
that's a
direct
neat vision.
drilling,
Yeah.
yeah, with directional drilling being the first and I guess the baby of the company, right?
Yeah, that's a great vision. So appreciate you taking the time to share that with us. So, knowing that this show is kind of directed towards people who maybe in their first few years of business, what advice would you like to offer to our listeners on owning your own business?
Well, I can say honestly, I'm a younger guy, 37 this Saturday, and
Happy
I can
birthday
tell you,
early.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. Um, I can tell you patience and controlling your maybe your temperament or how you analyze or look at things. It's a lot better to sometimes sleep on it than it is to react, right? And as a younger guy, it's taken me a few years to figure that out. And I think with this startup, it's been humbling to a point to where I feel like I've learned a lot as far as analyzing a situation and coming up with a great solution. I also got to say, when starting a company, you're only as good as your weakest link, your weakest employees. So investing in your employees and treating them as equals and bringing them up through the ranks into offering opportunity to your employees to be a part of it, to help you build it. You don't always have the right answers. Maybe your employees might have the right answer, and just being able to open up and listen to everybody's ideas has always been it's been pushed on us since the early Southeast days. And we've carried that over here with North Country. So definitely investing in your employees, and then if you have partners, making sure that they're hardworking partners, and the transparency, and everybody's got the right mindset on getting the job completed and on task and on the same page is a key for us. And like I said, we've had great success since we've started. It's been a lot of fun, and we're growing pretty rapidly. I mean, we're a year and a half into this, and we've gone from 2 rigs to 7 rigs. So there's a lot of exciting things behind our company right now, and our employees are one of them. Our customers are very pleased with our product and what we're delivering, and we're going to continue to push that mindset.
Yeah, going from 2 to 7, as you said, that's almost a double and then another double.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's great. Congratulations on your success.
No, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun. And like I said, there's a lot of stress, but it's a different type of stress. It's been fun working and growing here.
That's good. Well, listen, thank you so much for your time today, Josh. It was great meeting you and learning more about your journey with this organization and company. And to everyone watching, I look forward to seeing you in our next episode.